the more I realized that this was a defining moment. I reached out to her, I was very respectful, but I was a little bit trying to maximize that moment. As she was getting off the platform, I stretched out my hands and said, thank you so much. I came for this conference just to have the opportunity to speak with you. Would you be my life coach? Then she said, well, this is my business card. Write the subject line, life coach, and we'll see what happens. I did just that. Prior to that, I was in the not-for-profit space. So I said to her in our very first meeting that my background is a nonprofit organization, but my burden, my challenge was the idea of just change making or just being driven by a fund that comes from a grantor or grant making organization. It didn't quite continue to resonate. I know there has to be something more than that. When I looked at the alternative, the whole idea of just pursuing, just being exclusively financially driven, that didn't quite cut it for me either. And she said, if you want to make money, and if you want to help people, you are a social entrepreneur. And that was when my life changed, because 6 months after that conversation, the corporation of Microsoft started to invest heavily in social entrepreneurship. There was a business plan competition. It was Young Global Social Entrepreneurs Competition. They were looking for 100 people to win this competition. Keep in mind, I never heard the word social entrepreneurship 6 months prior. I applied for that competition, I won. Shortly after, I came to America from Nigeria, started a few venture enterprises, and now I've dedicated myself to helping people tell and articulate their story. 3 things stood with me that continued to change my life from that particular event. Number 1, I understood the power of your language. So they say that your word would determine the world around you, and your language will manifest your reality. By simply tinkering and adjusting the language, the vocabulary of my story, I was able to elevate the scale of my opportunity. I was telling my story prior as a nonprofit professional. The opportunities I got were advocacy, which was amazing. The opportunities I got was grant opportunities, which were fantastic. But when I elevated that to a social entrepreneurship, then what happened was the entire world was a canvas. And then all these opportunities began to come by adjusting and engineering the vocabulary and really paying attention on auditing the language that frames the narrative I am putting in the world. The second thing that stood with me was this idea that I have the inherent power to change my brand identity. That my identity, particularly my professional identity as a social entrepreneur, or in your case, as a business leader, as a thought leader, is not something that you advocate, you outsource to an external partner or an individual. Think about it. You are the governing authority of your gender identity, your spiritual identity, your cultural identity. When it comes to your business or professional identity, we tend to outsource that to something external to us, whether it is an industry, whether it is a superior or supervisor or employer or corporation. Little do we understand that no, we have the power to articulate our brand identity. I'm going to speak more about this. I believe there is thought leadership on the inside of every one of us. Thought leadership is not just the idea that you are the 1% of a particular select field. It's this idea you have some inherent unique qualities, you have a unique story to tell. And only you can tell that story. That is your greatest asset, differentiator, and competitive edge is the unique experiences that has framed your life's journey. And telling that story can be utilized for purposes that includes marketing, fundraising, partnership, customer acquisition, deepening the engagement in the community, or activating a community. Number 3, the third thing that stood strongly with me is this idea of telling a cohesive story. Shortly, a few moments ago, I was speaking with Jack, which was the outgoing vice chair, and was telling me about how the landscape of business around the world is changing, particularly for this county. The opportunity for the chamber is this: how do we cohesively amalgamate, encapsulate the varying interests of our many partners? Their various sizes, their scale, their interests are divergent. How do we embody that into a single story? As I said, the idea and the role of a business corporation is changing, so is the landscape of doing business. Employees, according to latest report and statistics, are saying they wanted to feel connected to organizations that feel they are fulfilling their purpose. Customers are saying they are becoming increasingly savvy, investigating the corporation they do business with, investigating their philosophy, their political affiliations, their value system, how they treat their employees, and we see a lot happening in the media, in the culture. Now, even at large, the community are saying, is it just the role of a corporation to have a department called CSR and write checks? Could it be more leadership in the issues that happen in the community that do business? The opportunity for us is, how do we tell a story that cohesively encapsulates the many varying interests of our multiple stakeholders? So in the book, Borderless Voice, The Power of Telling Your Story and Defining Your Identity, I try to answer some of these questions. One of my response to this many questions is I try to talk about the stories of my coaching client. I try to show you their own story, their journey, and take you to the timeline when everything turned around the transformation. One of the stories in the book is a woman by the name of Carrie Rich. Carrie Rich runs an impact investment fund. Well, before that started, anyone know, we all know the pharmaceutical company called Innova, right? She was executive assistant for the corporation Innova. And she would speak to the CEO that she would like to change the world. And if she has a little money, she will make all these changes in the world. Well, it was 22nd or 21st birthday. The CEO said, "You've always wanted to change the world. Let's put this to test. This is a check for $100. Go change the world. If I work with a millionaire or a billionaire and they gave me $100 for my birthday, I may get it on the but that was not Carrie. Carrie went home, she took this challenge, she went to a Gmail, typed in all the emails, and she started to reach out to our primary network. Before then, she sent a few emails out. She sent one to a school in Southeast Washington, D.C. What can you do with $1,000? They said we can increase literacy rate in the classroom. She said to India, what can you do with $1,000? They said they can put 50 women through small business. She sent an email to Kenya, what can you do with $1,000? They said they can take a group of 20 farmers and help them take their goods to the market. So our vision in life was to raise $1,000 and donate it to any of these wonderful nonprofits. So she sent these emails out, and quickly the donations started to trickle in. 2010, she raised a little bit over $2,000. Now, someone emailed back and said, this is timely. They just met at a conference about a couple of weeks ago. Can we meet in person? I would like to make a contribution. She met at a Starbucks public location so everybody can see what is going on because of this email that came through. And this man showed up with a certified check for $1 million. Now she almost passed out. She put herself together, dragged herself to the office, slammed the check on the table of the CEO. Look at how you disrupted my life. And they said, well, be careful what you wish and what you ask for. I'm going to support you on one condition. Guess what it did? It doubled it to $2 million. Now, Carrie raised $2 million for an organization without a business plan, without an incorporation, without a website, without enough. All she had was this